Hello, Ken Spriggs here with a little bit of an update on some builds that I'm working on, that I want to work on and started doing some preliminary things with, hoping to get completed in time for Wonderfest, which is coming up quickly, as you all know. It's at the end of May and the beginning of June. And as I mentioned in my previous video working on the EVA pod, I'm going to be out of commission for about 2 or 3 weeks or so, having some surgery on my right shoulder for a torn rotator cuff I've been struggling with since last year, hoping to get that back into some nice shape and stop having pain with it. So what I'm working on, I want to hopefully get done 2 more models in order to take with me to Wonderfest. One of them I had shown before was the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and I had gone over a few things that I was considering. I've decided to change that a little bit up and go with a little different approach with how I want to build her, and I'll go over that here in this video and hopefully get her completed. The other build is something I thought about for a while, and I thought would be a nice build to work on, especially if I'm still recuperating with my shoulder. I don't want to strain it too much. Is to work on a version of the Razor Crest that's a little unique and original. I have 2 different models of that ship, the larger size, one from Revell and one from Round 2. I'll be building the Revell version, and I'll show you that here shortly, but I will be using some parts from the Round 2, which would work better for what I'm trying to do. So I've had these models for quite a while, and obviously a lot shifted because the Razor Crest was destroyed in the show, and it was replaced with the N1 Starfighter, which I built 2 of. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to build it, but I'm not going to build it as Mando's ship. I'm not going to build it with the silver theme. What I thought would be cool is to use the same painting scheme that you see on most of the other Star Wars ships, like the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wings, that kind of thing, where they're basically that gray with a lot of different colored panels. You know, the red, like the whole red, the pale yellow, the blue, the grays, things like that. And a lot of battle damage, really worn, that kind of thing. And it's not going to be Mando's ship. Now, what I've determined, and somebody might try to correct me in the comments, but the Razor Crest is not the name of the spaceship. It is the type of ship, like an X-Wing is a type of ship, an A-Wing, that type of thing. And the way that we know this is that when Mando goes back to Pelimato to get another ship, when they destroyed this, he said, "Where's the Razor Crest? I thought you were getting me a Razor Crest." So clearly he knows the Razor Crest was vaporized by Moff Gideon. So he's not referring to the name of a ship. He's referring to a model of a ship. I'm assuming the Razor Crest. And there's other points in the show too where they talk about that there was another Razor Crest that blasted out of something or other when he's confronted by the X-Wings. But they're referring to a Razor Crest. It's the model of the ship. It's not the name of it. I don't think we were ever told the name of it. So this is still a Razor Crest. It won't necessarily have a name unless I decide to make up something. But I'm going to have some unique characters that I'm going to put into it and make a little diorama with it. I'm going to light it up, and and it's all going to be very different than what the Razor Crest looks like. So I'll kind of go over that. But the good thing about this build is that none of it is something that is actually in canon with Star Wars. I'm not trying to imitate anything that currently exists. So I can do whatever I want. I can go to town and just paint whatever colors I want, whatever damage I want, whatever characters I want on it. Just come up with my own imaginary theme. It's still going to be, in my mind, set in the Star Wars universe, but I'm not trying to imitate anything that currently exists for this ship. So I think that'll be kind of fun. I think that'll be pretty cool. And I always liked painting the Millennium Falcon and those different colors and weathering it. That's a lot of fun for me. So, all right. But those are the two that I'm mainly looking at trying to get built, and had started working on the Razor Crest, which I'll show you here in a moment, and then some ideas I have for the 50-foot woman. All right, let's take a look. All right, so as I mentioned in the introduction, I'm going to be working on, one of the models I'm working on is the Razor Crest. Now, I'm actually using primarily the Revell version of this kit. Here's that right here. I did a review on this, and I did a review on another version from round 2, which is right here. So I won't go into the details of that if you want to go back and check that out. They're both good models. I do prefer the Revell. I think that the detail on the hull is a lot crisper and sharper. I just feel like it's a little softer on the round 2. One other obvious difference is the round 2 does not include a full interior. It only includes the cockpit, which I'm not sure why they did that. The Revell has a full interior inside the bay. You can see from the open hatches and also the cockpit. So another reason why I prefer it. Now, what I do prefer in the round 2, which I'm going to be using instead, is that as Revell has been known to do, and I don't know why they do this, they did the same with the N1 Starfighter. So they don't open up the engines for lighting. Now this one I started opening up by using a pin vise, excuse me, and a needle file, which I saw Lou Del Maso do on his, which is a good idea. But what I'm going to do is the round 2 actually opens it up, which makes a lot of sense. How much easier just to mold this part like that. Plus it has these outer little parts of the engine opened as well, where again, these are all closed. Revell, come on Revell, get with it. People are going to like these models. So open up these engine parts, for goodness sakes. So this is very close to this one in as far as the part. The this outer lip is just a little bit off. I don't think it's thicker, but it's just to go into the which one does it go into? This one, this side here. To go into this groove, it goes in. Let me put that in there and I'll show you. All right, so it goes into the ridge, but you can see it doesn't fully close. It's just a little bit of a gap. What I've been doing is sanding around to make it fit in there better, and I'll get it to where it needs to be. But otherwise, it works just fine. I mean, it's the same part, has the same detail, but all of that is open, which is really smart. Round 2, not so smart. Revell, I don't know what they're doing, but yeah. So I'm going to use these parts instead, and I'll get those to fit in there. That way I can light all of this up from the inside and not have to do any extra modifications on it to make it work. They also have this piece here, and what this is supposed to do, sorry, and I've played with it a little bit, is it goes in behind it. The idea is you're supposed to put like a 5 mil, I believe it is, LED into that, and it would, sorry, not focusing, and it would glow, and it would give it some light. I've sanded it a little bit to frost it to just give it some more diffusion. But yeah, so I'll probably end up using this piece behind it in order to diffuse that light. And like I said, I'll have to modify it so that this fits in here better. And it will. It shouldn't be a problem. So, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm not doing the version that the Mandalorian has. I'm doing a version that is like the Millennium Falcon, basically, where I'm going to do a black coat, do a black basing, go over that with either white or a very light gray to get the basic light gray color. And then I'm going to pick out panels, and this has a lot of panels, just like the Millennium Falcon or anything else. Pick out panels and paint them, like some of them hall red, some of them a light gray. They also have like a yellow or a mustard yellow kind of thing. Maybe like a green, an olive green, that kind of thing. And certainly some battle damage, some weathering streaks, really dirty it up. Like the Millennium Falcon. And that's the fun of it. That's the fun of doing this type of model. But the great thing about this is I'm not imitating any real ship that we have seen in the Star Wars universe. But I'm making one that would be the type of ship that would be there. And so I can do whatever I want. I can paint whatever I want. I can paint whatever colors. I can do whatever I want with the damage and the weathering and everything else. And along that same theme, so I'm not going to light these engines up with yellow or orange like they are in the Mandalorian. I'm going to light them up with blue. So I have these little flexible filaments from Brick Stuff, which I've used in the N1 Starfighter. And I'm picking blue because of the idea that this is sort of like the Millennium Falcon theme. And of course, the engines in the Millennium Falcon are blue. So I'm going to have one of these. Here's the flexible noodle. So I'll wire one up on each engine, have it wrapped around something on the inside of this, and lighting the blue light out. So I think that's going to be pretty cool. And I'll probably do on the engine parts, probably something of a metallic or a gunmetal kind of a thing, and dirtied and weathered and that sort of thing as well, and scorched for that. I am going to light the interior as well, probably with warm white or cool white or something like that in the cockpit. Also for the ship, because you're going to be able to see it. What I'm going to have it displayed as is the back ramp is going to be down. One of the side ramps is going to be down. And I'm going to have some characters in it, which I'll go over here shortly. But that's the overall idea for this particular ship. And so let me go ahead and I'm going to start doing a little bit on this, and then I will show you some other things that I'm going to be adding into the build itself. All right, so I've gone ahead and got a coat of Krylon flat black over the whole ship. It's not glued together yet. The top and bottom, they're just pressed together for now. I did paint the outside of the ramps. I haven't painted the inside yet, as you can see. And I glued together the landing gear, and that's not glued in place. They're just set on there. And those haven't been painted yet either. Those are going to be a metallic color as well. And the inside of the ramps are going to match the interior once I get that painted. But this will be the initial black basing, which then after that I will do a light coat of gray. What I'll probably end up doing is finishing the engines to get those attached on, and then doing the whole outside of the ship all together as far as getting the final light gray color, and then starting to do the panel work and that sort of thing. But I'm not going to do any more of that in this particular video. I'm not considering this part one of this build. I'm just showing you kind of some initial things I'm doing. But once I'm recuperated from my shoulder surgery, I will be doing an actual, part one video of this and going over the other details. of it. I just wanted to kind of introduce the main elements that I'm doing. So one other thing that I'm doing, which is going to be pretty cool, is I wanted to do some figures with this, and I'm not using the Mandalorian or Grogu or anything like that. So I was looking for some ideas, and I saw another video where Boyle Hobby Time, actually, which I've gotten a lot of great ideas from him. Check out his videos, Boylei Hobby Time. He has some really cool dioramas that he makes. But he has talked quite a bit about a site called Hero Forge, where you can create your own gaming miniatures and things of that nature. Really cool site. So I went out and checked it out. And what I did was you basically use elements that they provide, and you can create a lot of different sci-fi / fantasy characters. You can edit pretty much anything on them, their size, their head. They have different humanoid and or animal type creatures. A lot of it's for fantasy gaming and that sort of thing. You can change their outfit, their gear, the expression on their face, their shoes, their gloves, their weaponry, even down to the details of how tall their head, how the size of their head, and change the size of it, and their body and their arms, and move around and change the position that they're posed in. So I went on there, and I'll show some pictures here in a moment of the digital files. So what you do is you create this digital file, and then you purchase it, and it's an STL. Sorry if my cat's sneezing in the background there. And then you 3D print it. So I did that, and I made 2 figures. And again, I'm not giving them a massive backstory. We'll see as we go along. I might give them a little bit of a backstory, but basically they're mercenary types, just like Han Solo or Chewbacca, or smugglers, or scoundrels, as I like to say. So I went with a humanoid figure and an animal type figure. So let me go ahead and show you what those look like 3D printed. All right, so I printed a couple different sizes, and I've kind of settled so far on these sizes here. So this is the humanoid character. And again, obviously a lot of these are kind of a nod or an homage to Han Solo and Chewbacca. So he's got the, his little jacket and his same kind of pants and boots and belt and things like that. But he has a cape. He's into capes. He got his blaster. And of course, like I said, I put him into this pose. You can pose them however you want to pose them. But very, very cool. Together, both of these figures only cost about $16, $17 for the files, which is really awesome. And plus, like I said, I was using elements from theirs that I don't have to know anything about digital design. There's his face, pretty cool. I'll get a close-up of these in a moment. All right, so he's not quite in scale if I were to put him in the cockpit, but he looks fine if I put him, like, for example, on this ramp, and he's blasting at somebody trying to attack them while they're trying to escape in their ship. He looks like he would fit through the hatch there, and it would work. So he's going to be displayed probably on this ramp, firing back at something. And then the other character, and I made two sizes. I made a larger size and I made a smaller size because he's kind of an animal type creature. And so he might be bigger, like Chewbacca's bigger than Han Solo. So he's based off of a lion, but I augmented the face quite a bit, elongated it. He's got little fangs. He has this really cool lion pauldron, I think it's called, on his shoulder. He's got some spikes in the back. Paws. He has lion paws for feet. Pretty much normal hands. And he's got this wicked looking blaster thing or weapon in his hand. It's almost organic. So he would be fine if he was a little bigger than the other character. Here's the smaller version of him. Really nice detail, and the detail came out really well. These were pretty easy to 3D print. And then what I'm going to do is have him, at this point, I might change that, but I want him on the back ramp. And similarly, firing backwards. So this is either going to be in a landed position like this, or maybe just hovering like they're trying to take off. I might come up with another character or a droid or something in the cockpit that's ready to blast them out of this, wherever they are, and they're being attacked by something, either stormtroopers or somebody. I'll come up with that, and they'll be coming at them, and they'll be firing at them to try to escape. Let me get a little bit closer on these. Okay. Trying to do this while filming it. Okay. Yeah. So you can see a lot of nice detail on his face. He's kind of yelling as he's firing at them. And you can even add things like I've added these little side pouches. He has a holster on his side that you've added that's supposed to be for the blaster. I could have changed the weapon to something else if I wanted. His right hand, or his left hand, is open. And his cape, of course. It's very cool. And then this one here, I really like this one a lot. And I glued them temporarily onto this piece of styrene so I can handle them and paint them. They're just primed right now. Okay. There is, so their figure, really cool little look on his face. You can see his teeth. A pretty awesome looking weapon. It's got little spiky muzzle on it. But again, it looks almost like a plant or some organic type of a weapon. But it looks pretty wicked, like it's gonna blast a big hole in you. And then his back. And you can even adjust the proportions of their torso, their arms, how long they are, their legs, the position, of course. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. They have a lot of elements, which I guess they keep adding new ones in all the time, which is cool. But really cool. Highly recommend it. If you have a 3D printer and you want to print your own, you can buy them from them. So they will also print them and send them to you. You could even put them on a little base. Obviously more expensive if they do that, but this is a really cool and inexpensive way for me to do it since I have my own 3D printer. All right. I even come up with some real cheesy names for them, which it's just, you know, for my little backstory. So his name is Gryphonx, Gryphonx, like a griffin, which is part lion, and that, I just thought it was kind of a silly little name. But that sounds like something Star Wars-y that they would do. Him, I went even a little cheesier. I was trying to do a little play off of Han Solo, so I called him John, but spelled Jahn. And his last name is Trip, like triple instead of solo. He's not by himself. He has 3 people. So he is not alone. He has his people. I'm sorry. Little dig to the Solo movie. But so these are my 2 main characters. They're a team, and they're going to be battling in this little fight out with their ship. And like I said, I'll come up with some other figures as I go. So, all right. But that's the basic idea. That's the basic plan at this point to build this. Probably have it in some kind of a landing bay area where there's going to be, you know, different containers and the typical Star Wars types of things and boxes and electronics and whatever. So, all right. And the other model that I talked about, and I also done a review on this in a video, is the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Really, really cool kit. Go ahead and check out that my previous video. I have information on there if you're interested in getting this. So the kit comes with a little tree that goes on the back. It has a little 3D printed car that you put in her hand, and in a nameplate, and that's about it. So initially, I had gone through a couple of ideas on how I wanted to build this. The first thing I did was to 3D print a electric tower, which looked pretty cool, and I was going to put her next to that. Then I decided to go with a version where there's a poster of the film, which looks pretty cool. I wish they had done that for the movie, but she's towering over a freeway, and there were cars on it, and the truck wrecked into her foot and that kind of thing. So I thought about that, and I even printed some 3D parts of that. Actually, let me show you those real quick. All right, so here is the 3D printed car that comes with it. It's in clear, in case you want to mask off the windshield or even the headlights, and you know, but you really couldn't light it or anything because it's solid. And here are the parts of the highway that I was initially thinking of having her straddling, and having some of it like falling down and wrecked and things like that, and having some cars on it. So when I was thinking, that was the theme I was thinking of going with. So I was looking around, and I found at my local hobby shop a little teeny N-scale car from Woodland Scenics. And it's really cool. So this movie was set in the 50s. So this is an old style 50s type car, blue coupe. But here's the amazing part. It has a driver in it. It has LED headlights and tail lights that are pre-wired with this little magnet wire that light up, and I'll show you that here in a moment. And it's designed for a model railroad, of course. So they give you this connector. you would put the wires into this. You'd press on these and put the wires down into this. Then this plugs into a hub. And from what I understand from the guy at my local model shop, he said it works off of 9 volts. So I tested it out, because this is just magnet wire that's exposed at the ends and it's wrapped up, so there's a lot of it. It runs off of 3 volts. So very cool. Let me show you. And I'd have to fiddle with it to get it into her hand in the right spot. But let me go ahead and put this on and show you what it looks like. Doing this with one hand. There you go. There's the headlights. Very cool. Turn it around and do the tail lights as well. Okay, let me get that on there and I'll show you. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. So there are the headlights. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the tail lights. They're red. So very, very cool. It's I believe it's just plastic. They do have a lot of other cars you can get. They're not all lit up. Some are lit up, some are not. But it's all wired in for you. And a lot of extra magnet wire. So what I could do is I could put a hole through her hand, take the wires up through her arm, down through her body, and leg and into the base. So it would be hidden. So definitely want the one in her hand to be lit up. But I decided to go with another different theme. I'm trying to make up my mind here. So when I was looking at this and looking at the cars and things, I thought, you know what? What would really be cool is if she were attacking a drive-in and they were watching the attack of the 50-foot woman on the drive-in screen. It's a little funny nod there. So I'm gonna make a drive-in screen, which is pretty easy to do. It's not gonna light up or anything. It's just gonna have an image in black and white of the film, and then I'm gonna have some other cars that I'm gonna get and having them, like, you know, in front of the drive-in with little people in them and that kind of thing, and some other people in the drive-in in scale, looking at her, pointing or running away, that kind of thing. So that should be pretty cool. So what I've done is I've gotten some images from the film. This one's kind of cool, where she's hitting on the grabbing onto the electric tower. We have one where she's throwing the hotel sign at a police car. And then another one where she's just walking towards the hotel. I kind of like one of these two. So I made a couple sizes. I'm just kind of testing it to see what would be kind of the right size of a billboard. Then I'm going to print it out on some self-sticking paper or vinyl and just stick it onto whatever I end up building for the drive-in screen. And then, of course, you know, just have the little cars lined up and some gravel or some little bit of grass and that kind of thing for it. So, okay, so that's the idea for this one. And that'll be a separate build, as I said. And I will be, once I start working on that here in a few weeks, I'll start posting pictures of that also and videos for that build as well. All right. All right. So I think I have some good progress going on. I'm going to continue to work on the Razor Crest here once my shoulder gets back into shape. So it will be several weeks before I post another video, or what I would be part 1 video for it. Also going to work on getting some additional accessories for the 50-foot woman, some more cars. I might get some more with the little teeny lights in them because those are pretty cool. Maybe some other things. I've been looking at Woodland Scenics and other places, Walthers, to see about getting some other things. I want to get some little teeny people in the end scale that are gonna go with that as well. Again, it'll be a few weeks before I post another video, but I'll start getting some work on those once my shoulder gets healed and give you an update on that as well. All right. Thank you to all my new subscribers, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.